Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and the Instagrams as well. I forgot to mention that last three ones we've been doing on Instagram. So if you're watching on Instagram, say hi. Although I don't know if I can see the comment. I'll put the comments to the side. There we go. Anyway, it's Colby and I. We're gonna hold down the fort, but we'll obviously need a lot of help in the comment section because we're gonna do kind of a state of the watch collection, aren't we, Colby? Like some of the highlights of our watch collection this year, and then we definitely want to hear yours in the comment section, and then we'll pull them up and show them in real time. So before we kick off, Colby, how have you been, and what are you wearing?
Doing well, just kicking it out here in Dallas, enjoying my Sunday. And I have my favorite watch. If people have been paying attention, they know that this is my number one favorite watch. I will never sell it. I got married in it. I proposed to my now wife in it. So my IWC Mark 20.
Oh, very nice. And I am wearing the new G-Shock with the MI MIP display. I'll just show you some of the MIP action. Let me see if I can move it. So there you go. I don't know if you can see that, but you can get the full day and year on it. It is pretty special, and the viewing angle is absolutely amazing. Because I got kind of put off the square a little bit with the last couple that I reviewed because the viewing angle was a little bit off. But this is I don't know if he's going to join, but this is total thanks to Russell, Mad Watch Collector, because he messaged me a picture of this watch. He said he just put game changer. So I was like, oh, is that the 5000U? Which I don't know if you know much about G-Shocks, but the 5000U was classed as the best affordable square G-Shock there ever was. And he said, no, it's actually a new one. So I was quite surprised. Quite impressed.
Is that I know you probably have a review coming out, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that the same technology, the MIPS, as LCD? Is it just like a better version of LCD, or is it an entirely different technology?
No, it is. It's called memory in pixel. Is the definition of it? Yeah, essentially, it's like somebody will know better than me. It is like LCD, but it's basically like a dot matrix display. So it's like a tiny millions of dots, dot matrix essentially, and then you can get very detailed. It's not like traditional LCD where it's it's just got the numbers, and then you can only illuminate whatever the LCD has on it. It's got essentially it's thousands of dots, so it's like a sort of like an e-ink display.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but it doesn't do. It's either black or white. It doesn't do 50 Shades of Grey. It just does either black or white. So, but you can get extremely detailed with it. They have done it on a square before, which was I've reviewed a couple of watches that have it because they have the fitness ones. They have the MIP display, the MIP display, but the fitness square wasn't really a square. It was like a little bit thicker. It was, if you're a bit of a purist square fan, it had like heart rate sensor and stuff on it, so it was a little bit thicker. But okay. This is the first time they've done it in a square. They did have another watch that was square shaped that had it, but this is the first time they've put it in like what you would say is like a proper G-Shock, I would say.
Okay, love to see that in person.
Yes, it's a thing of beauty, the screen, and also I've got it in the let's just do a demonstration in real time, and I'll show you, because this is quite clever the way that it does this. So it works. It's got Bluetooth as well, but it's also got the multiband 6, which I guess is weird because the Bluetooth actually sets the time. But if you let me just I'm just gonna try to show this in real time. So it doesn't, like some of the other watches, it doesn't stay permanently connected to Bluetooth. It'll connect like once a day. Or it will, or you just press it for 3 seconds and it does it. But if I show you, I'm just going to show you one thing. So let's have a look. Yeah, so here we've got it sort of like traditional G-Shock, the numbers, like the digits there. And then if you press this, and then press this, you can switch to
Oh.
so it'll actually go. That was on from the fitness G-Shock, but if you switch that, and if I switch it back, see it's gone back. It did it fast, but it's gone back to the traditional view. But one thing I think is very weird, that I think they're going to do two versions of this. This is a JDM one. They are going to do the negative display one, but doing it negative isn't an option on the app, even though it could be. Like they could easily do it, but turn it negative. In fact, there isn't even on the fitness ones. You couldn't change it from a negative to a positive display, which I always thought was weird.
Oh, so it's the exact same screen. It's just a software thing, whether it's negative or positive.
Yeah. It's all software essentially that does it.
Huh.
So yeah, it's interesting. I think Garmin have used this technology for a while. It's just that G-Shock were a bit late to the game, or Casio was a bit late to the game with it. But anyway, so let's see who we've got. So we've got Eric. Thank you so much. I was just chatting to Eric about my Miami trip and trying to haggle with some of the watch dealers in Miami. And then Kevin, thank you for joining us. We've got Brassic Time in the house. Robert Coleman.
Just to answer that question, Robert, this is from Blue Shark Straps. This is the only one I use because it's a single pass NATO or fabric strap, if you like. And it's thin enough that I don't have to take the spring bars off the Mark 20 in order to thread them through. So it makes it super convenient.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, sorry, Robert. I kind of was saying hello and I missed the missed the question. And then I presume this is points hit. Switch the month and the date places. You can yes, you can have the day and date. You can switch from US month and then day to British day and then month if you want to, if that's the question. Cool. Also cool. Awesome. Right. So let's go through. So Colby, I'll let you start. So the setup now is we're going to talk about a couple of the watches we got this year. Maybe do a little bit of a show and tell, like why we bought them, and then also we'll probably go into the juicier bit as well of what we sold and why we sold it. That'll probably be quite interesting for the panel. And then guys, let us know in the comment section if you've got any questions on this, but also some of the highlights from your watch buying year this year. But Colby, I'll kick off. What's your first one?
All right. Well, my first one is, besides the one that I have on my wrist, besides my Mark 20, this is my Christopher Ward 12X Titanium. I bought this over the summer. It was a choice between this and the Loco, and I am just loving this watch, and I cannot see myself selling this. I think it's brilliantly designed. I love the in-house movement. I love the micro adjustment on the bracelet. I love the skeletonization. It's one of the only skeletonized watches that I've seen that I actually like and that's really legible. So I just love everything about this watch. The lume is great too, everything.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's the SH21 as well, is it in there?
That's right. Yep, that's their in-house movement, and they managed to get it into the 12 case, although it's thicker than the normal 12. It's not too thick. So,
okay. Does it have the butterfly clasp with the extensions?
It does, yes. Yeah, so you can pull it out like that.
Oh, that's got a nice.
And then push it back in. And it has one of those on both sides. Each one is 1.5 millimeters. So it's perfect. Because what I've found about myself is my wrist does swell throughout the day. And if I don't have any micro adjust on it, especially on the fly micro adjust, I just won't wear the watch. Yeah. And so that's become essential for me. And so I just love Christopher Ward for putting this on there. And I think the only other brand that has this, or one of the only others, is Vacheron Constantin.
Yeah. It's interesting you say about my wrist swells as well, but if this was me living in the UK, I would have no idea what we were talking about, that our wrists swell or not in the heat. But I know you were you were in Tampa, weren't you? And Dallas is hot, and I'm in Florida. And when it gets hot and humid, my wrist does swell up. It's real, and it can get quite. I've had it where bracelets have like quite constricted, almost blood flow, even though they're normal loose. But that would have never crossed my mind when I was in the UK, because it never would have got that hot for me to concern myself with how a bracelet, if a bracelet had on the fly micro adjust or not. But yeah, it's something that I definitely think about now. But I think on your 12, I think they perfected it, didn't they? Because I had an early consort bracelet where they hadn't got that pop quite right. So it would, even if you bent your wrist, it would open. So it would, I mean, not all the time. And that was something I didn't like, but that was like probably the first generation of the consort bracelet. So I could even hear it when you snapped it open, that actually they've obviously perfected it, because mine didn't like snap open like that. It was friction, but it wasn't, it would still pop open. But...
Yeah, and it's really secure. I have had that happen one time, and I've owned it since June, and it's only happened that one time. I think it was some kind of, I was bending my wrist in a really weird way, and my wrist happened to be really swollen. So that was but otherwise it's very secure, and it wouldn't just come open accidentally.
Yeah. I suppose that's a good actual safety mechanism as well, isn't it? If you did, so you're not going to, not that I've ever popped a string bar, but yeah. So let's see who we've got. Kent's asking, where is everyone else? Exactly. Where is everyone else? We offered the hand of friendship, and no, everybody else was busy. We were also going to have Bobby Legs was going to very kindly join us, but he was unable to make it sort of last minute as well. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are out and about today. It's coming up to Christmas, isn't it? So maybe a bit of Christmas shopping. Let's have a look. So let's have a look. So Darkstar says, just got on the pre-owned market, harboring to which is a deadbeat second and small sub dial going. Oh, I've never even heard of this.
Sounds interesting. I haven't heard of it either.
Okay, maybe we'll have a look. I'm going to star that. Maybe we'll have a look later.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. So okay. So Remus 2001 says the new Formex 41 has a similar on-the-fly mechanism, which they also provide to the GP Laureato 50th anniversary. Okay.
Really? That's interesting. That makes sense, though. Formex they're experts at doing bracelets, so it's not surprising.
Yeah, and then Wristful of Ignorance says Formex sells the tech through Dexel. I think it's actually the other way around, isn't it? I think Dexel actually make the cases for Formex.
Isn't Formex own Dexel?
Well, I think Dexel own Formex. Well, I mean, I suppose swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Or they're linked somehow. They are linked somehow. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'll go next. So you've seen this. You've seen the new G-Shock. One other one that I got this year was. So I review a lot of Veya watches on the channel. I love the what they come up with, the guy Ryan and Reagan, and then they released this. I always get this mixed up. I think it's the G2. This is the G2, which is the quartz one, and they do a G5 as well. And it's their sort of cheeky nod to the first ever Rolex Explorer 2, I suppose. The one that Steve McQueen, they often call it Steve McQueen because Steve McQueen had it. But this one, it's absolutely amazing the way that they did it. They managed to just nail the design. I'm not even a fan of like Fotina really, but they got it subtly just on the right side of peach, not to look like it was too brown. But the way that the first time they sent me this one, I was like, okay, I'm going to see it. But I think this has been a big hit for them, and this is one of my favorites that they've done. And they very kindly sent me this in for review, so contains paid product promotion. But normally, normally the Veyas, if I do get to keep them, normally I'll give them away to somebody because they're just like great gifts because they're like quartz and like very well designed. They do mechanicals as well, and plus they're assembled in America, and the quartz ones as well. I don't know if this is one of them, but they have quartz watches that have AmeriQuartz in them, which is a quartz movement that is made in the US. So, and I know that Mark at Long Island Watches uses this AmeriQuartz as well. So these are like the closest you can get. The AmeriQuartz ones are like the closest you can get to a US made watch. But they're if anybody wants to buy a gift for anybody, I think Veya it's awesome. Have you owned a Veya?
I haven't owned one. I've actually never handled one, but they have become my go-to recommendation for, my 16-year-old wants his first watch.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You want a $200 to $300 watch. You want it high quality. It ships from America, and so that's replaced Seiko for me in terms of recommendations.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll recommend Erebus too. I'm a big fan of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got to first handle those Erebuses at Wind Up Watch Fair. Jody was there, and yeah, he's done a really good job of those. You could tell that he's poured many hours into perfecting the design of those. Yes, you're right. I think these. I think actually this might go to one of my cousins who's into watches. So, okay.
Thanks.
So that was Veya also as well. Just to gush about them a little more, is that they also, which is quite interesting, is they have their website where they sell the new watches. They have like a new. This is what makes them different. So there's a couple of things that make them different. One is they guarantee the water resistance, which I don't think I've seen any other watch company like guarantee a water resistance. So that was their first thing. They'll send an email. I don't know if it's once or twice a year, where they put the prototype designs on, and they'll ask people. It's like an optician's. Do you like this color, that color? Do you like this hand, this hand? Yeah. And they send the survey round. If you're on their mailing list, and you don't have to be like a Veya owner, they'll send it to you. And that's how they actually perfect a lot of the designs that they have. And you'll often see, like the latest watch, their take on the CIA watch, I suppose. That was from that email. That they were playing around with different ideas. So it's quite cool to see some of those. They take a lot of community feedback. And then the third thing, which is really cool about them, is they have a part of their website that is basically sells the returns. So they have like a cheaper, if you don't mind, like a pre-owned one or a returned one, they'll actually sell you a return one on the website as well, which I think Christopher Ward do that like once or twice a year, don't they? But Veya, it's live all the time. So if you want to get into one for a cheeky price and you don't mind a pre-owned one, you can buy it direct from them. So which is
wow, that's very unique.
Yeah. Let's have a look. So let's have a look here. I just got some more comments coming through. Hello, everyone. So apparently, Habering 2 has won numerous GPHG awards. Austrian husband and wife team. Okay. Let's have a look. Is this the one where they highly decorate the dials? Or like paint the dials or something? We're gonna have to find it, aren't we? Now we've mentioned it twice now. So Habering. Let's have a look. Oh, like Habering squared, it looks like. Hang on, let me just add this in. This one, I think it's this one. Habering.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, GPHG. Okay, so that looks a little bit like a hand heart, doesn't it? Habering stands for both of us. Okay.
I'm looking at one that looks a little bit like a Baltic. With the Breguet numerals.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
There's no price, so it means it's going to be an investment.
Price on request.
Price on request. Awesome. No, thanks for that, showing us that. Let's have a look. Wishful, yes, Formex is the forward-facing brand. Dexel is the research and development. Yeah, in simple terms. Let's have a look. So, Jack says, did you guys know that Orient quietly released solar-powered Bambino in 38mm case, 10.5mm thickness? Isn't that great? Yeah, the Bambino used to be quite the darling of the collecting community, didn't it, at one time? Like if you had I guess if you were recommending a affordable dress watch, you went with the Bambino, but I think that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's have a look. So I am the Jad says, watch noob here. Don't have any luxury pieces yet. Strictly G-Shock guy. Is 30 milli water resistance enough for a gather? Don't plan to swim or shower wearing it, but I do intend to run it under a faucet often. This is a funny one, isn't it? Because most watch collectors now will say, oh, 30 meters is basically the equivalent of splash proof. But for years and years, before I was into watches, I had an Omega Speedmaster that had 30 meters water resistance, and I did everything in it. I swam in it. I remember being in like a wave pool at Disney with it, wearing it. I didn't think twice about it, and it was only when I started watch collecting, I'm like, oh, actually, should I have been doing that the whole time? I think 30 meters is. It's not like the old days where it was just sort of water resistance with splash proof, was it? I think 30 meters is. I think it's. I don't know. What's your opinion?
Well, doesn't it depend? I mean, partly it depends on how the brand defines it. Because I think Omega, for example, I think when they say 30 meters, they literally mean 30 meters, which, if you put it that way, it's more than 99% of people will ever need. But yeah, I think for some brands, 30 meters does essentially mean if it rains on it or if you get it wet washing your hands, it's okay.
Yeah, and also I guess it's I would also judge it on who the brand is as well. So we just talked about Veya that guarantee 100 meters water resistance. To get a watch case to 100 meters is not really that hard. So if you to get a watch that's 30 meters, I would wonder. I would be more concerned about not concerned. I would question like the brand. Is it like an AliExpress brand where it's saying 30 meters? Then I probably wouldn't trust it. But
well, and I know like a pretty widespread opinion is 100 meters is kind of a good everyday watch water resistance depth.
Yeah, I mean, and all of your G-Shocks like this one, like this square, all of those are 200 meters, I think. So just go to show you.
Yeah,
because the gaskets have got so good now that even I've just reviewed that Hamilton that I just reviewed, the khaki watch, that's got 150 meters, but it doesn't have a screw down crown because now the gaskets have got so good that you can easily get. I mean, in fact, there's that story, isn't there? That Christopher Ward had to put a screw down crown back onto a dive watch because people didn't believe, even though they tested it to 150 meters, the people didn't believe that it had 150 water resistance. So.
Right. Well, again, I think it's one of those things that varies by brand and by model. For some watches, you do have to have the crown screwed in for it to have the stated water resistance, and for others, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look. So Jeremy says, I typically get one watch a year, usually for my anniversary. This year, it was a purple limited edition Oris Aquis. Okay, I love the Aquis and love the sunburst purple dial. Oh, that's really cool. I suppose that's a good way of doing it, isn't it? Because then you've got something to look forward to. You kind of know when you're going to get a watch, and I guess you could spend the rest of the year kind of researching it. Yeah, I was actually very good this year up until Christopher Ward released this watch, which was, I got it in November. So basically I hadn't bought a new watch until November. Now that falls a little bit hollow because I do get sent watches in. So it's not like I've not been handling watches or had like new watches in it. But that was the first one that I technically bought this year. Well, with the exception of my, which to be fair, this is probably the one I've been wearing the most out of any of my watches. I shouldn't really admit that, but I've been wearing this Ultra quite a bit actually. So, and I did buy that, so I suppose technically buy that. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, Colby, what's your next one? What's your next one on there?
All right. Well, I'm going to show this off, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's another Christopher Ward, and I have two more Christopher Wards coming in, and so maybe that's worth a discussion because I only limit myself to 10 watches, and to have 40% of them be Christopher Wards, I'm not. Even though I love Christopher Ward, I do love other watch brands too. But anyway, all that to say, this is a Christopher Ward, and it is the limited edition C63 SH21 in-house movement snow leopard.
Oh,
So it's their limited edition. They released a year and a half or 2 years ago. I ended up getting it secondhand for a little premium, but I really love this watch. And in fact, between this watch and the C63 Extreme Edition, which I have on pre-order, I actually decided to sell my Rolex. So that's maybe something we can talk about too in a little bit.
Oh wow, that'd make a great title for a YouTube video, wasn't it? I sold my Rolex to buy Christopher Ward's.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't tell on that one, but it does have like a very subtle like leopard print, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, it has a very nice texture on the dial, and I don't know, I love the little spot of color. I actually had the blue wave and decided to swap it out for the snow leopard. But yeah, I love the dial. I think it has a trapezoidal date window that adds a touch of whimsy, and I just really love it. And I thought, like, when I had my Rolex, my Rolex Submariner Starbucks, I was thinking, maybe I should sell my snow leopard. But then the Extreme came out, and I'm like, you know what? How much better is this Rolex really? So anyway, but yeah, I really love this watch.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I'll go next, and we might as well carry the theme on, but this is my Christopher Ward Extreme. I also put it on the where did I put my torch? I also put it on this. This is the glow in the dark or loomed. Oh, here we go. So this is the loomed bracelet, the strap on that I put on here. You can't really tell there, but so it's got the fully loomed strap, and then obviously the dial is amazing as well. I've just been doing the B-roll for this, but yeah, this Extreme kind of broke my year of not buying watches, because when they showed Patrick at Christopher Ward showed me this at Wind Up, I was like, oh my god, that's absolutely amazing. Like I couldn't have. I would like to think this for me it's like the greatest hits of all of the previous Christopher Wards that I've liked. And I would like to think that if they'd given me like free reign to design something, I would have designed this, but I probably wouldn't. This is like the ultimate one that they bought out recently. It's a dive watch. It's a tool watch. It's got that Lumibrite technology. So it's got the solid lume, but it's not like the Lumiere, where the Lumiere was showcasing that technology, whereas this is, I feel like they've used it. And then obviously it's got the lume on the bezel. It's a GMT as well. The only two improvements I think they could make on it is make a version that's titanium and maybe make one that's Cosc. But Christopher Ward I don't think they've ever done a GMT that they've had measured to Cosc. So, but yeah, this is the few ones I got it on the bracelet, but I don't wear it on the bracelet. It's one of the few ones that I think just looks cool with the on the strap. I also did get the Velcro for it, and I do have thoughts about the Velcro, but I'll save that for the review.
Yeah. Well, with that loom strap note, though, is it really, how tactical is it really? How extreme is it really when you're in your sniper nest and trying not to tip off the enemy because your watch is all brushed? Now they're going to see your strap.
Well, that's true. You just got to hope that the guy in the next, hiding behind the next bush, has got that Hamilton khaki field on that review that has the most reflective crystal that I think I've ever seen. I know you'd mention it to me before it arrived, and I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. But it's like, it might as well be a mirror, that crystal. It's pretty wild.
Now is my chance to say 100%. I agree with you on everything. I obviously just said I love this watch because I have it on pre-order too. I was a little peeved that I didn't get on the first round of ordering because I hadn't kind of made that decision to sell my Rolex yet. Now it's supposed to be in by the end of February. But to me, this is like everything that the Lumiere, I wanted the Lumiere to be. So I didn't really like the fact that the Lumiere's hands were not filled in. I didn't like that it didn't have a date. But you're absolutely right. If they made this in titanium and cost certified, it would be like the ultimate watch, but they'll never do that probably because then it'll eat into the sales of the Lumiere. So
Yes. Yeah, and I'd asked Mike about this ages ago when he used to come on, Mike France, and we did a whole bit about COSC, and it's actually harder to do it on a GMT, so they don't do it, or it takes more time, whereas the normal, because the COSC, how COSC works, or at least how I understand it to work, is essentially it's like microchips where, I don't know if they still do this, but back in the day, they used to get like Intel used to get the processors, or Apple would get the processors, and they get a whole tray of them, and they would ramp them up to see how fast they would go. And if most of them survived going up to like 3 gigahertz or whatever, those ones were 3 gigahertz chips. So, and then the next one would be like a 2.5 if they got up to like, oh, these ones we can get about up to 2.5 without them overheating or whatever. Those would be the 2.5 gigahertz chips. So they're all the same chips. It would just how they could get them. And I think it's the same with COSC. They don't actually adjust a movement to COSC. What they do is they take a tray of movements, measure them with temperature and all of this, and then say it's like a tray of 100, and 50 of them are like, okay, these are keeping good time, blah, blah, blah. These ones are the COSC ones, and these ones are the normal ones.
Okay.
So it's not that they're, I think I always thought, oh, COSC is like a, maybe like a car tuning company where you send your, like Barabbas, where you send your G-Wagon. I've not sent mine yet.
There's a watchmaker there adjusting all the ones that don't pass the test.
Yeah, like they are like, that they're tuning the engine for you, but they're not. They're just basically like, okay, these are this set of
binning. Isn't that what they call it for chips when they get binned?
Probably, yeah, because it's to do with like the silicon and stuff, isn't it? Like how hard they can get it, because it's because they still use like sand, the silicon sand, don't they? So it's, I think there's some environmental variance, but yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's how hot they can get the chips, and also like, okay, this 50 out of these 100 are keeping good time, and we've done them through the temperature test, and we've done them through all this other. So these are the COSC ones. And it's funny because Mike, I don't know if it's changed now because this was like 3 years ago, but Mike told me that to go through that process is the equivalent of only $50 at £50 extra to do it on top of the movement. So it's quite funny. Christopher Ward never used to charge a massive premium for the COSC versions, but there's other brands that are like, COSC is like, normal one is here, and then COSC is like that. I think Doxa, and there's a few others where it's like, whoa, okay, like there's a big variance between what is a normal movement and what is a COSC movement, when you could, by the look of the draw, get one that performs to COSC anyway. It's just that it wasn't, they didn't send them, that company didn't send them to COSC.
Yeah. But I got to say, Sam, probably this is my favorite Christopher Ward release.
Yeah.
In the past, since the 12X titanium. Just love this.
Yeah, it is. It's same with me. It's absolutely awesome. They did a fantastic job of it. That sort of grain on the dial. Yeah, they just knocked it out of the park with this one. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that was my next one. Just let's see. So Rima says Patek says that 30 meters is enough to dive down to 30 meters. I think most brands play it safe for warranty purposes, but if it passes 30 meter test, I don't see why it wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look. I was just thank you so much for sharing from Life Proof. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, yeah. So Grand Seiko. I would trust Grand Seiko saying 30 meters because the Japanese usually come down, don't they, in expectations. They usually under promise and over deliver.
Makes sense.
Okay, let's have a look. Does Colby secretly work for Christopher Ward and Co? We cannot divulge any links. Well, what is that they put at the end of films, isn't it? Any characters that may seem like they represent real people aren't. It's just pure coincidence.
That's right.
If we appear to be Christopher Ward representatives, it's just pure coincidence.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Colby, what's your next one then?
All right, this is my, well, until the pre-orders get here, this is my most recent watch acquisition. This is my Young Hans Max Bill Mega Solar. So this is awesome. This is the Max Bill design. It's got that classic Max Bill clock look, but this runs on a movement that is solar powered and also radio controlled and also Bluetooth enabled. And also it's a high accuracy quartz watch, accurate to plus or minus 7 seconds a year on its own. So I just love everything about this watch. It's a 38 millimeter, which I have a 7.5-inch wrist. So this is a little small for me. However, because it's all dial and because of the classic styling, I think it really works. So yeah, I've been a fan. One of my first watches was the Young Hans Max Bill Quartz. I ended up moving on from that. And of all my early watches, this is the only one that I've come back to. So bought this at Chicago Windup and really enjoying wearing it.
Awesome. Is my video okay, or is it stuttering? So I think
it's a little grainy, and the audio was out of sync a little bit.
Okay, let me just quickly. Thanks for telling me that. Let me just quickly shift back to my other camera. Whoa! Let me switch back to this, and then we will. Yeah, it's got a bit. Let me see if I can correct that. There we go. Right. So I think it's because my SLR is it's a Sony one, so sometimes it gets a little hot under the collar. So I'm wondering whether that's it. I'll flip back to it when we're doing. In fact, I don't know whether. Oh yeah, you can still sort of see it there. Okay, yeah, I'll flip to this camera. I think it'll be better. Let's just switch that one off. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, awesome. So how much should you expect to pay for one of those?
I think the list price is $1,500. They were giving a 20% discount at the Chicago Windup show, so that's how much I ended up paying.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's a little steep. I mean, you know, if I don't think I could sell it for what I paid for it, but to me, I just love the design, and the high accuracy quartz was really, really attractive. So
yeah, no, I really like high accuracy quartz. Yeah, I've definitely gone through over the last couple of years. I've definitely warmed really back to quartz as well. Like I really,
Yeah. Robert Coleman does it. There is one quirk of the movement, which is it does beat twice per second. It ticks twice per second, which I'm not sure why it does that, but it does mean it doesn't have as much problem hitting the markers because it's not doesn't just tick one tick per second. So yeah, not sure why it does that.
Yeah. Cool. So second camera had the same color as the Oyster Perpetual Great Dial. Okay, so I'll go. I've got more Christopher Wards here. Let me do a different one. So this one isn't a keeper, but this was very kindly lent in to me to do a review. This is actually a prototype, but this is Peter's at Jack Mason's titanium strato timer.
Ooh, that looks nice.
Yeah, it is really cool. This one's a prototype, so I'm going to do a review of it. But yeah, it's done a great job of it because he's managed to get his bracelet that looks like one that has a royal sounding name but isn't. He's managed to get that in titanium as well. His 7-link bracelet, he calls it. So that's really cool. It's got their extension as well. Like his on-the-fly extension is one of the best, where you just literally just pull it down and then you slide it up and down, sort of like that other system that it might. I won't say the other Rolex one because I get sued. But yes, but yeah, the bezel and everything is good. So this strato timer has been like the real hit for them. But I recently went to in fact, the one that you used to help run, the Red Bar.
Oh yeah,
Orlando, the Tampa Orlando one, and Peter was there, and he asked me whether I would go, and I said I'll only go if I can, because I'd never been before and I didn't want to sort of stand around. I said, can I work the stand with you? So he launched it there at that Red Bar. This was the first time that anybody saw it was at that Red Bar, And yeah, actually, so there's pictures of me on the socials behind the stand, working the stand with him. So yeah, he kind of let me this one in. But this is a real gem. This one, I think it's like going to be $1,300, but it's got the Miyota 9075 movement in it. So if you like that sort of strato timer design, but want something that looks a little bit more tooly, and it's in titanium, I think he's done a really good job of this one.
Yeah, and to me, I still think the pricing is a little high, but I think that this one, the design language on this one has been refined. I kind of feel like the design language on the first Stratatimers is a little bit clunky. The hands and the hour markers aren't quite as elegant, but I really think they've stepped it up a level with this one, and this is one I would buy.
Yes. Yeah, I actually I don't disagree with you about the hands, and I think what it is that the hands and the indices, we're so used to seeing a hand most of the time. We're used to seeing the hand completely cover the indice, whereas this watch, it doesn't. Like, the indice is bigger than the hands. So that was something that I think I mentioned in one of my reviews. But it was funny that I think certainly when I was at this show, nobody mentioned that, and I'm like, I wonder if it's just because maybe because we see so many watches, and this design isn't obviously this case shape and stuff like that. We're so used to seeing like divers from the 70s and stuff like that have a similar look that yeah, maybe people who aren't used to seeing watches all the time, they don't think, oh, the hands and the indices are slightly different. But
Sam,
anyway.
what's the bezel on that? Is it sapphire or ceramic?
This is ceramic. So it's a dive bezel. So the normal Strato timer either has the split GMT or a solid ceramic. And this one, and now I'm questioning myself.
But it looks matte to me rather than glossy. Yeah. Is that right?
It is. It does have it has a fine pattern on it, like a, yeah, now I'm thinking whether it's aluminium. I don't know. I'll fill it in the review, but it does have like a very fine pattern, like almost like a vinyl record. So I'm wondering whether that's why that's carved into the ceramic to make it look matte.
Yeah, I just think it, and I like the GMT hand as well. I just think that's their best release yet.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Oh, we've got a. Oh yeah. Sorry, Jack. Let me know. Colby, is my video quality still up and down?
A little grainy. I mean, it looks like we're in 2005.
Right. Let me just see if I can correct this. I'm just switching Wi-Fi. Second. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Sorry, guys. Right, I'll try this and see how we go. Okay. Well, Colby, you better talk then for a bit. You better, if your quality is good.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to go with my next watch?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So next we have one. This is actually next to my IWC Mark 20, the oldest watch that I have in my collection, which is not that old, but I've had this since 2024. It's my Accutron Space View 2020. And I saw this and I fell in love with it. I had to have one, and I got it at a great deal. And I just think this is so cool. A genuinely new movement with run by an electrostatic motor with a smooth seconds hand. I just think is really, really neat. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it? Seeing that thing spinning, it almost looks like a turbine or something, doesn't it? Like a.
Yeah, and the fact that it's quartz regulated but still uses is still powered by a spring, very much like the spring drive movement, but except this uses static electricity and a capacitor. So yeah, when I move my wrist, I love seeing the little electrostatic generators. Yeah, you can see them there. I love seeing them go, and then I love seeing the motor in the top left power that seconds hand.
Yeah, it's so really cool, isn't it? Yeah, I'm glad that they did that, because it's not because it was what they were known for, wasn't it, back in the day? Because is Accutron owned by Bulliver? Are they linked
Yes,
now?
or
Yeah. Oh,
yes, except I think they still are, but they've been spun off into their own brands. You
okay.
won't see the Bulliver branding on them.
Yeah. So they'll all roll up to Citizen, then, won't they? Citizen Group. So yeah, I think it's quite cool that they did that, and then they're going to make the Space View again, aren't they? But I think it's
Yes,
quite
it's. I
interesting.
think, in fact, I think not the Space View, the 314. So they remade the old tuning fork movement, the old 214, and the 314 is. I think it's supposed to come out this month or sometime this winter, and I'm really excited. Although I'm not excited about the price of $5,000 or $6,000 for the steel.
Yeah, it's a bit steep. Okay, so I'll go next up. I have got another Christopher Wall, but we'll go a different one. So this was another one that was very kindly sent into the channel. So this is the RZE or RZE, if you prefer, the UTC 8000. So this was Huey at RZE, who used to be called Razor back in the day. They made this digital watch. So they're a small production. They're not really a micro brand. I would say they're an independent brand, but they've always specialized in making titanium watches. In fact, I've got another titanium watch up there. But yeah, they just had their go at making a digital watch. And I can only think of Autodromo that has done this, where a small independent brand has decided to make a digital watch. It's almost unheard of. And I know I've had a few comments about, oh, well, it's not got as many features as it's a G-Shock or whatever, because it has like an alarm, stopwatch, alarm, and then it's only got 3 complications, I suppose. But the complexity of what they did just amazes me, that they actually did this far, because Casio's obviously got a whole vertically integrated business where they're getting movements and all of this, where they had to source a movement, program it themselves, and then create the titanium case to go around it, all for, I think these are less than $300, or it might be $320 with the bracelet. I think it should be like highly commended that they did this, and it's a great watch as well. Like, it's very solid. They stress tested it. The buttons work beautifully. The titanium's beautifully machined, and RZE, along with a few other brands, they put to shame some of the larger brands that charge a premium for titanium, because this is as easily as nicely machined as any other titanium case I've ever seen, maybe with the exception of Grand Seiko, of course. But yeah, so yeah, this is one that it was very kindly sent in, but again, it's one that's kept in my collection. I've not moved it on. So
How often do you wear that now that you have the Apple Watch?
Admittedly, I used to wear this actually all the time, but since I've been wearing the Apple Watch, I've kind of worn this less. But I bought a fitness band. This is from Hume, they're called, because once you started, because I was trying to get a little bit healthier and try and drop a bit of weight and stuff, but once you start wearing an Apple Watch and you start tracking stuff, like, how do you not? If you're trying to track stuff daily, or you're trying to track like your activity and stuff, you're basically stuck with it. And I didn't want to wear the Apple Watch. I didn't want a double wrist, basically. So I ended up getting this Hume band, which does probably only 50% of what the Apple Watch does, to be fair, but it does like the steps, it does the heart rate, does temperature and stuff like that. So that's when I started wearing normal watches again. I bought this a couple of months after I got the Apple Watch, because if you're tracking stuff on the Apple Watch, there's certain features as well on the Apple Watch that people will know this, that you do have to wear it for. There's a metrics. I don't know if you've got an Apple Watch.
No.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
There's a metric on the Apple Health thing that is, it averages out. It tries to work out your general health, right? But you have to wear the watch for 180 days for it to do it. It's like a cumulative thing. So you really are. It's like, check out. It's like the Hotel California. Check in anytime you like, but you can never leave once you put one on and you start tracking it. So thankfully, the Hume band does also link with the Apple Health app. So that's when I started wearing this. So I'll occasionally wear this now, but mainly I'm like today I wore the G-Shock all day, or I've been wearing the Extreme a lot. So I'll probably go back to wearing this RZE as well.
Yeah, I have a very high opinion of RZE. I've had their bigger watch, the Asperare. I think it wasn't as popular because it only came in 44 millimeters, but it was titanium, had a great bracelet with a great clasp, and I moved on from it, but I really enjoyed my time with that watch. So I love what they're doing. Where are they getting the module for that? Is it a Seiko or a Casio or?
No, it's a I think it's like a Hong Kong. I think they're based in Singapore, but I think it's another movement manufacturer. It's not. I think they're getting it from Hong Kong or something. It's not affiliated with any. It's not like a Seiko or a. It's funny because you can tell that it's not a Casio movement because the actual way the loom. I don't know if I can activate the loom, but the loom actually illuminates the numbers and not the background, which is it's hard to see there. But the 6 and the 20, the numbers are lighting up, not the actual. You see how it's slightly green there? It's not the behind. Whereas on a G-Shock, obviously the whole screen is illuminated. This is just illuminates the numbers.
Oh, interesting.
So.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, God, we've been going here for nearly 50 minutes. But what's your next one up?
Well, this is I have two more. This is the last one that I have right now. This is my only Breitling. It's the Breitling Endurance Pro 44 millimeters. I bought this a couple months ago. I'm not a G-Shock fan, even though I had owned some. This has replaced my G-Shocks. If I need something that I absolutely can't damage, I use this. So I've been thrilled with it. It's a carbon case. It has a high accuracy quartz movement. I've been really happy with it.
Is that a Christopher Ward strap on it?
funny you should ask, Sam. Well, yes, it is.
Let's see. Yeah, definitely. There we go.
It's the C60 Tide strap by Christopher Ward.
Oh, we proper look like we're Christopher Ward shills, don't we now? But we are. We are actually genuine fans of it. That's how I knew, because I'd had one of those Tide straps before. But yeah, that there's a couple of things that I really like about that Breitling watch. First of all, like the barrier to entry is not that. They're like less than 3,000, aren't they? Which is a lot of money, but it's.
Yeah, MSRP is 3,100, but you can get them like right now on Joma Shop. You can get them new for 1,900, 1,950.
Yeah. Yes, Christopher Ward approved. In fact, even this is a deep cut, but actually Christopher Ward also used that. I think that they use that movement that's in the Endurance as well.
In the
they're really cool, aren't they? So if you really wanted to get into Breitling, but you didn't have, because they've really shot up in price, haven't they? But some of the pre-owned Breitlings are really cool.
And it does have a 1/10 of a second counter. So this will go for the 1/10 of a second counter will go for the first minute.
Yeah. And the case is forged carbon?
Yes, it's carbon. So it's thin and light, and you would never you forget you're wearing it.
Yeah, and even Christopher Ward's carbon case, although admittedly it was an automatic, that was still, I think, over $2,000. So I think, and a lot of the other brands that have done carbon composite cases or forged carbon cases, they're expensive as well, because I think that to do it. So I think even 3,100 to get into with the Breitling name as well, obviously you're paying for, but I think that's a really good price. I've had I think Breitling do great on quartz. I mean, they were the first, I think, to mass produce like the thermocompensated quartz and stuff like that. And then that one, I think, is thermocompensated, that movement.
Yes, I believe. I think that's one of the things that makes it high accuracy.
Yeah. Okay, I'll finish up with the last of the Christopher Wards. Maybe this is the Dragonfly Christopher Ward Dragonfly GMT. this was kindly sent into the channel, so just FYI there. This actually came on the consort bracelet, but I swapped it out for the Beta bracelet. But yeah, this is another great GMT watch. It's funny because this year, for some reason, I ended up nearly every watch I've got is a GMT, including my Braymont, which I've still got that Braymont, but it's not here. I haven't got my other watches here as well because I keep them separate. Keep them in a safe separately. But yeah, so I've got like 4 GMTs for some reason. Well, I know the reason because I like them, but it's funny. And I suppose that even though this is being returned to Jack Mason, that's a GMT as well. Yeah. But yeah, so that was my last one. But what's your last one?
My last one is one that I just pre-ordered. So I'm a member of the Random Rob Discord group, and they have a C60 a Christopher Ward C60 Trident Pro 300 special Random Rob edition. They did a custom one through Christopher Ward. It's exactly like the normal one, but it has an orange dial and then Rob's logo on the back. So that Discord has been a great part of my life over the last year. So plus those are great watches. So excited about that one.
I've often I've chatted to Random Rob a few times. I'd love to get him on the live stream. I've offered a couple of times, but I think the timing of ours on a Sunday. I like to get the UK audience, so it's like late for the UK audience, but it's also early. It's 4:30 for us on the East Coast, but for you it's like 3:30, isn't it? And then over the West Coast it's like 1:30 in the afternoon, which is a bit of a weird time on a Sunday. But yeah, I'd love to get him on. He seems like a great guy.
He is, yeah.
To him. And then I suppose the only other one I've got, which I did get this year, but I don't often wear this one, but I managed to get the recreation of my first ever watch, which was the triathlon, the Timex Timex
Ironman.
Yeah, or the Bill Clinton watch, because this is the war. So
it's a great watch.
Yeah, this may have.
You know who wears that? Andy Reid, coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's a pretty common one for American football coaches to wear, actually.
So I wonder whether his is like the vintage one, because these you have to get them from Japan. They don't. Timex US doesn't sell these. They sell the other Iron Man ones. Also that Jacko Willink, who is the he's a famous ex-Navy SEAL and fitness kind of influencer, and I should say life coach. Fitness influencers doing a bit of injustice, but he wears the other Iron Man one that he's like famous for wearing. But yeah, this one is the one.
Does that have the Indiglow on it? That's their big selling point, right?
Yeah, this has the Indiglow. Yeah,
nice.
I think this was one of and it is. It's right. I think it even says it somewhere on there that it's. Oh yeah, it does. It says. Does it say it on the back? Yeah, it says it on the back. Indiglow on the back. Yeah, that was their big technology, isn't it? I mean, a lot of them have that glowing technology now, but I think Timex was the first, wasn't it? Awesome. Well. Let's see. I don't think I've got. Have you got any others? That was you finished off with your pre-order.
Yeah, no, that's all. I mean, it is interesting because it was kind of an interesting decision to move on from my Rolex Submariner. I had it I bought it in May, and I thought, I want to own this for the rest of my life and make memories with it, and then. I just started to think, it's just too much. It's just too expensive. And I'd rather sell it and have the cash. And is it really, 4 or 5 times better than, because I loved it. I mean, it's a great watch, but it was just having one watch that cost that much really just started to bother me.
I totally agree with you, because I had that date just for a while, and I waited for it for a while. I made an upload on it, but yeah, I was the same after like 18 months. I'm like, that's a lot of, and the date just was obviously cheaper than probably a couple of grand cheaper, isn't it, than the sub? Although depending if you bought it new, then did you buy it pre-owned or did you buy it? Yeah.
I got it new on the secondary market, so I paid about $1,000 over what I would have paid.
That's not bad.
With new and taxes.
Yeah. I was the same. I got mine new from an AD in the end, and actually mine was a rare one at the time. It had the green dial, the mint green dial, but they started to become more common, and I was like, could I get this out of? Essentially, I sold it for what I paid for it, so I basically worn it for free for a year. But I had that same thought, like it's a lot of money, upwards of $9,000 or $10,000 in one watch.
Yeah,
and it'd have to be like your only watch, wouldn't it? And I think because we're watch collectors, there's always more to experience, isn't there, to have?
Yeah.
Because that type of watch works great if it's like either if you've got a lot of money and you don't mind having a collection of those watches, or if it's like your only watch, then it's your cost per wear is, you wore the Submariner every day for 10 years, your cost per wear is in the
right
dollars a month.
And there are times that I think, like you were saying, why, what if I just had a sub and a date just, and those were my only two watches, but then I don't want two watches.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't think I was ever happier with a watch than when I had my Speedmaster, and that was all the only watch I had. And I had a G-Shock as well, but yeah, when you get into watch collecting, there's just so much. It's just your view of watches just like opens up, and you're like, oh my god, there's so much to experience. I suppose it's like the Gen Z on the old Tinder where they can't ever meet anybody because they're just like, oh, who's next? Oh
yeah, that's right.
But yeah, well, that was awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for. I don't think we had any. Do we have any? Let's make sure I didn't pick any. Oh, so Robert actually had, what's the most innovative thing you've ever heard of in a watch movement? If there is time, have a look at this sympathetic oscillation. It's a function of the FP Journe resonance. Coolest thing ever. I haven't seen that one, but that you did that. Was it Brigade that you sent that magnetic one, or was that?
Yes, well, and Thomas has responded pointing out that exact one.
Yeah, did you read up on like how that actually works?
From what I understand, it's kind of like I texted it to a buddy of mine who's a watchmaker for AP, and he was really impressed with it. And I think it's basically like what you call a natural escapement. But I mean, that 1918 article that I sent by Jack Forrester, it goes way into detail on it, and I just didn't have time to read it this week.
So is it the? Yeah, I'll have a look at it. Is it because it's like using the opposite attraction of magnets pushing apart? I don't know.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah. I'll have a look at that. But also, I think one thing was it Ulysse Nadan who invented the amusingly called grinder winding system, which was essentially it kind of moved you could move the watch in any direction. Essentially, it would wind it. It didn't have to sort of be in a circular motion, so to speak. And I remember when they released it, they were talking about, they'd patented it, but there was an engineer saying this is actual, not like a perpetual motion machine, but essentially this method could be used for a whole host of other like engineering tasks for actually winding mechanisms and stuff like that. But I don't know whether they struggled to like commercialize it, or maybe like with Frederic Constant with their thing that they were doing, that maybe the failure rate was high or something. But yeah, there is watchmakers do come out with some interesting things that I think would benefit the world in other ways than just putting it into a watch movement. But
yeah, well, I mean, that's what, that's why I mean, the spring drive was so cool, because that was a huge innovation. That's why I really like the electrostatic movement that Accutron came out with, like a genuinely new piece of tech in watch.
Yeah, it's really, that is the fun thing, isn't it? And I know somebody mentioned before, I forgot it, but somebody said, "Oh, the watches are just jewelry. It doesn't matter what's inside." I think it depends who you are. Like, certainly, I would think that some people would think that. What does it look on the outside? But I know, certainly, I've got more interested in watches. To me, the movement does matter, and the accuracy of it as well. I think that's why I stopped buying sort of mid-range Seikos, because I just didn't like the I don't know. I get anxious if a watch is. I wouldn't enjoy a watch that was like plus or minus 10 seconds a day.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is like, that's like the best thing that Rolex does, is their movements are, they have that superlative chronometer rating. And I mean, they really stay within that. They're great movements.
Yeah, 100%. Great point to leave off on. Well, Colby, thank you so much for that. Guys, thank you for being active in the comments. Sorry that my video was a bit off there. But we'll appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk. Thanks, guys. Bye.